appointed time for everything, to everything, that there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. So there's only a certain amount of time that certain things are going to take place. People that are so worried about the things that are taking place right now, that are in fear of things that are taking place in their lives, there's only a certain amount of time that God is going to allow that to take place before something else is going to happen. There's only a certain amount of time that people are going to be able to misuse you at your job.
Come on.
There's only a certain amount of time that God is going to allow certain things to take place. There's only going to be a certain amount of time that we're going to be able to cherish those that we love. There's only going to be a certain amount of time that God is going to be knocking at the door for that thing that He called you to do, for you to be able to get it done. There's only going to be a certain amount of time, a certain amount of nudging that He's going to be able to do for you to speak that word into somebody that He called you to, for you to embrace the gift that He's called you to have. There's only going to be a certain amount of time for it. It's a blink of an eye that we have here on the earth.
Say it.
So I just want to encourage you to embrace what it is that the Lord has called you to. Embrace what it is that He's called you to. Step out on faith for what He's called you to. Because living in fear is no life at all. So we can't live in fear of the things that may not happen because they never will. And the famous words that they took from Confucius, they said that there's people that said that they can and they can't, and both of them are right. Because if we believe that we can't, we will not. The things that the Lord has called you to, you can do though, despite your fears. Pastor speaking a word to me about my family. Growing up, being a protective person over my family. Lord knows I'd do anything for him. But He had to whoop me before and say, when you're gone, who do you think is taking care of him? Better yet, when you're here, who do you think is taking care of him? Who do you think woke him up? Who do you think gave him that health and that strength? Who do you think when you was nervous at the doctor's office was making sure that everything was alright? So much that we don't know. So much that we have to learn. And we have a Father that's an open book for us. So that if we only ask, assuredly He will give it to us. But we're afraid to ask sometimes. And then when He gives us the answer, we're scared to move. So I just want to encourage you to move it the way that the Lord has called you to, and He will take care of the rest. All He needs is our faith, and not even so much that we're just bubbling over. Just a small measure of faith that He's given us to operate the way that He's called us to, and He will take care of the rest. Honestly, the way that things fall out and shake out for us is none of our business. The way that things are going to happen is none of our business. When we come to prayer and we say that, Lord, I'm having some aches and some pains, the way that we're going to be healed is none of our business. Unless He calls you to a very specific thing. He wants us to lay it before Him, and He's going to handle the rest. We put our money in the bank. We're not worried about them running off with it. Everybody here like direct deposit. Doing a check is too much work, but we don't expect the bank to do anything wrong with our money. But we don't do the same with God. We don't just let Him take care of it and let it just sit in His hands until it's taken care of. Just trust Him like you trust the bank. It's just paper anyway. Money ain't never kept nobody warm. Nobody ain't never been able to eat money. You ain't never been able to sleep on money. It ain't never gave you peace at night. So many celebrities and things like that we're seeing. All the money in the world, dying every day. I always tell you that money can't even take care of your health.
You can't buy everything.
People always complain, oh, well, you know, if you're rich, you can eat healthy and you can do that. So many people, CEOs, doctors, all kind of people that I see in the hospital that die regularly. John Glenn came to the hospital and died there as well.
Come on.
High status people. We can't take it with us. We can't do anything with it. The young lady that's out there, Robin, I talked to her and she asked for some Pepsi and some food. They can only do so much for us. Pepsi ain't even good for you no way. This food that we eat, and I don't know what's in it. Even the stuff that they say is organic, quote unquote. I don't know what's in it. And it can't sustain us. It can't take care of us like at all. But Jesus can take care of us. Without food, without shelter, without somebody to call on. Jesus is the answer. He can take care of it. We just have to be willing to be open. Allow him to be that consuming fire for us. Criminals trying to burn away evidence in cars. They expect it to burn up the whole car, and the only thing it does is tear up the insides of it. But the frame is still intact. The consuming fire that we call on, he can burn up all these insides of these hurts, these pains, these insecurities, these things that we don't need. And he can burn it up for us while leaving our frame intact. So that he can make his abode within us. And he can give us all the good things that we need. So I just encourage you and admonish you. Just give it up to him. Pastor said, when we put it on the altar, don't take it back. Because it's still there. We can go get it back if we want. And do what we want with it. And continue to be unfulfilled. Continue to be unhappy. To have a thirst that just can never be quenched. But just lay it before the Lord and he'll take care of the rest.
The Lord is saying this is strictly relational. For each and every one of us, this is relational. For some that may not be comfortable with what's going on, just try to fix your mind and place it on him. The Bible says those who keep their mind on him, he'll keep them in perfect peace. The Bible also talks about he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. And he says, as you do this, as you focus in on me in worship, I will deliver you from the things that plague you. I will deliver you from any type of things that mess with your mind and try to make you feel a certain way, any type of spirit of depression. Nothing can touch you when you're in the presence of him. This is what he's calling us to do. Focus on what he's saying to you right now. Focus on him. Just place your mind on him and watch him touch you. Watch him touch those around you. Watch him just clear your mind, because once we come out of this, we're going to be refreshed. This is more than just coming, but it's coming and spending time with him. He's going to deliver. He's going to give you that shalom peace. That peace that surpasses all understanding. This is what he's aiming to do through us right now. We serve a mighty God. This is what Jesus died for. This is the reason. When he died and raised from the dead, he went down and he set the captives free. There was a veil that was rent from top to bottom, giving us the access to go before the throne of glory. That's what this is right here. Direct access to God. This is what he's calling for. Focus on him. This is worship. Lose yourself in him. Lose yourself in him.
that right now, if we were to put this in a working environment, where we're at with the Lord right now, we could take this to school with us. If we could take it with us when we're dealing with our loved ones.
Yes, yes, yes.
If we could mobilize it, package it up. What are we talking about? Being where He is. It's wonderful how we can get to the point where the atmosphere is shifted, where the Holy Spirit is in total control, that you can see clearly that the lighting in the room may be dim, but you can see everything. This is where we are right now. And this is and it should be our desire, to stay in this mode. That when we get in our cars and leave here this place, that we're still there. How powerful is that? Why? Why is it powerful? Because the enemy is then rebuked. Those attacks that they try to make, you can clearly see them. Where He is where we are.
Said on sacrifice, we have to keep in mind on obedience. Now, you might have been told from the Lord quite a while ago to sacrifice this or sacrifice that, but your lack of obedience is part of the reason why you're still in that same situation. It's why you're still feeling I can't get over the hump. Because we become so accustomed to be obedient to what the country tells us to be obedient to. We become accustomed to be obedient to what our corporation tells us to be obedient to. And then the sacrifices that we make are in vain. Because we were never obedient to God in the first place. That woman out there on the front step, I've learned this morning that a lot of people talked to her already throughout the past week. And it was placed on Pastor's heart this morning that the one thing Jesus hasn't really been mentioned to her until this morning, I believe. Talk about obedience. We talk about our commitment unto Him. But when we go out here in day-to-day life, we're not obedient to Him. We worry about everything else. We think we can accomplish this and accomplish that, and still don't communicate with God about it. And we wonder why again, why we can't get over the hump. Bible that says obedience is greater than sacrifice. But first, will you be obedient to what He asks you to sacrifice? Whether it be that loved one, whether it be your employer, whether it be your own self. What is it you're going to sacrifice up to? What is it that's going to take your life deeper into the Lord? What is it that you're going to be able to offer unto the people in this world, unto the church that God has given you? Stop being disobedient. It's part of the Lord's message. Sacrifice. The ultimate sacrifice has already been laid in front of us. But what's yours? What's your sacrifice unto? It's already been stated that it's only going to be waited on for so long. Only for so long. This is your time.
Somebody come with a prophetic word. He says, and yield to the one who is on the floor speaking. Teacher, yield to the prophetic word. And what we've experienced today is what Paul talked about in the book of Acts. I will lay upon the heart of different people things that I once said. Teacher, will you yield to the move of the Spirit to allow a word of encouragement to come forth, to allow a word of correction to come forth, to allow a word of healing to come forth. That's what church really is. That's what church really is. So we all take an active part in it and be obedient to what the Spirit of the Lord is saying to you and what He's saying to share with the body, that the body might be edified in what God is doing through you. There may be someone here want to be a part of Committed. Want to put your name on the road, as we say. If you're here and you want to do that, you can just touch somebody. We can get you the form. You can fill it out. If you want to walk forward, you can walk forward. No problem. If you want to be baptized, you can be baptized. That's no problem. Being baptized here is not a requirement to join here. I just want you to be plugged into the body of Christ. And Mark Keller is right. The Lord did talk to me as I prayed about what we should do about the young lady that was outside. I talked to a judge yesterday about it. At an event we were at, a prayer luncheon we were at. I talked to a judge about it. I also talked to a police officer there with me about it. And they had things to say and advice to give, and I took it all in. And I prayed before the Lord, and I said, Lord, what is it that you would require that we do? I said, because on Saturday morning you said she's a soul, and you're interested in souls. And we can call the police and have the police to tell her to get off. We can tell her to get off the property. But what is it you would have us to do?
Yes.
Committed's here for a reason.
Yes.
She came to the doorstep. She came to our doorstep. And that's when the Lord spoke to me very clearly. He said, you've done everything but talked about Jesus. He says, you have not uttered Jesus. So when I got here this morning, I won't say the first thing out of my mouth was Jesus. This was about the third thing. The first thing was, this mess is going to get cleaned up. And she asked if we had a dustpan so that she could clean up the mess. And I gave her a dustpan and she cleaned up the mess. I said, the next thing is you're not going to sit in front of the door and smoke cigarettes. I said, because the word that the Lord gave me, he says, you need to understand that this house belongs to Jesus. He's the head of this house. Then the Lord said, ask her, do you know Jesus? And so I said, do you know Jesus? And she said, well, of course I do. Left it at that. She says, I want prayer today. I want to come in for prayer. I wasn't sure in my spirit if that was just religious talk. And the Lord said, tell her she can come in when the women come in, but she won't come in with you in there by herself. And so when Minister McCarroll and Minister Stewart got out of Sunday school, and I'm going to call her minister, actually prophetess, Roxy, the Lord said, get those three and send them out to her. She requested prayer. See if she's willing to take the prayer in the rain. And they went out and they began to pray. And they took Jesus to her. And the Lord began to use Roxy in a way that the prayer was all about yesterday and what's in her. And she began to call out the spirits that was in her. And they began to pray. And if I remember the story correct, when she gets to one spirit, I don't remember which one it was, but when she gets to one spirit and they lay their hands on her, she begins to cough like she was going to bring it up. I think it was at that instant she asked Minister Stewart to take his hands off her back. He said, take your hand, could you please take your hands off my back? He said, can you shorten this prayer up? Why y'all, okay, that's enough. And then when they start trying to give her Jesus, she didn't want no Jesus. When my understanding is when Sister Roxy began to call those spirits out, come against those spirits, she began to pack up her stuff. What did we learn? Give them Jesus. And if they refuse Jesus, ain't nothing else we can do for them. All the feeding and all the clothing and all the talking and all the hugging and all the hugging is not going to get where they need to be. If they can't accept Jesus, that's our mandate. And the Lord is teaching Committed how to distinguish between those who want and those who do not. Everybody out there that we think is poor is not poor. But they're not the poor that God expects us to help. Let me put it that way. Some folk just want to be where they're at. Sister Roxy nailed this thing on Saturday morning when she said she is obstinate. She didn't use those words. She is stubborn. What word did you use? Defiant. And so you deal with defiant spirits the way you deal with them.